Hi, Barbie!
Hi, Ken! I don't know about you, but I am psyched about the Barbie movie. Everything the pre-release marketing has shown me is that it's going to be fun, self-aware, and inclusive of different feminine ideals and definitions of strength and evaluating one's own value despite and through an imperfect societal lens. And pink! But Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig's 2023 movie is not even close to the beginning of the Barbie cinematic odyssey. You may know there was a version meant to star Amy Schumer more than 6 years ago, but do you know what would have happened in the alternative world where that movie got made? Hop aboard Barbie's dream Jeep and let's see what could have been, but I'm telling you right now, there's absolutely no way this version could have worked. The year is 2016 and the Barbie movie starring Amy Schumer and produced by Sony will definitely be made soon and released in theaters sometime in the next 2 years. Right, well that didn't happen. According to Deadline in 2016, the original scope of the movie was this. In a fish-out-of-water story reminiscent of films like Splash and Big, Schumer's Barbie gets kicked out of Barbie Land, basically because she's not perfect enough, is a bit eccentric, and doesn't quite fit the mold. She then goes on a zany adventure in the real world, and by the time she returns to Barbie Land to save it, she has gained the realization that perfection comes only from the inside, not the outside, and that the key to happiness is belief in oneself, free of the obligation to adhere to some unattainable standard of perfection. Deadline also reported Schumer would take her own pass on the screenplay written by Hillary Winston. Cute, if very predictable, I guess, but notably Schumer was supposed to have some amount of creative control over the script. According to an interview with The Hollywood Reporter last year, Schumer said she'd written Barbie as an inventor. And when Sony countered with an idea, one of her inventions would be high-heeled shoes made out of Jell-O, and sent her a pair of Manolo Blahniks, the expensive shoe line made infamous on Sex and the City, Schumer was less than enthused. She dropped out a few months after she was announced to be attached, initially citing scheduling conflicts, but later confirmed that was not true on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live, explaining she left because of creative differences. Even after Schumer left, there were other stars in talks for the role. According to a 2017 New York Times profile on producer Amy Pascal, quote, negotiations are underway with an Oscar-winning actress for the tonally tricky title role, end quote. And people had plenty of speculation on actors that kind of fit the bill, like Jennifer Lawrence, Brie Larson, Anne Hathaway, and Emma Stone, but these negotiations never solidified. Seems like they were only mere rumor, but that hardly matters because the vision at this point was never going to work. It was never going to be right. Inventing Jell-O shoes was never going to be right because how does Jell-O even figure in? Why would someone want footwear made of squishy food that could spoil? Be camp, but makes sense, Sony. And Jell-O Fun Barbie wasn't like this iconic, memorable doll, not like the many well-known outfits Margot Robbie has worn for the Barbie press tour or Ken's sweet rollerblades, which Barbie fans would certainly remember.
I literally go nowhere without them.
If this is an example of where they were going with this, then Amy Schumer was right to walk away, but that isn't to say her version was the right direction to go either. Locking Barbie in an inventor role was a choice and probably the wrong one. Barbie isn't necessarily an inventor. She's got tons of careers: fashion model, musician, doctor, president, game developer, robotics engineer, WNBA player, UNICEF ambassador, Olympic karate fighter, cowgirl, construction worker. Barbie. To give the central Barbie the job inventor is probably a weird move unless there's a wild shift right away or her job is meta contextually to be an inventor of different kinds of Barbies themselves, the ultimate creator of Barbies. Probably not though. If the tone for this would-be Barbie movie was anything like Amy Schumer's 2018 movie I Feel Pretty, which featured the weak and tired concept of what would happen if a straight white woman dared to have self-esteem despite not being thin, I wouldn't have faith in that as a guiding light either in 2023. It's not totally clear pre-release what the Barbie movie is about, but judging from clips released, it seems less about the self and living up to idealized perfection and more about what Barbie means as a concept. What does Barbie represent? Who loves Barbie? Who despises her? Who doesn't care about Barbie? What does she mean to womanhood and girlhood? What does it mean to step away from a dream world and have an existential crisis? What happens when a fresh, naive soul gets confronted with unwanted sexualization like so many of us actually did?
Me?
Writer-director Greta Gerwig, who also wrote, directed, was Oscar nominated for Lady Bird and Little Women, both nuanced and beautifully contradictory takes on the interior lives of women, seemed like a weird choice at first, but seems likely to bring surprising depth to the project beyond the already apparent killer visuals. She and star Margot Robbie bristled with Mattel, who were upset by and wanted to cut a specific scene for not being brand appropriate. In an interview with Time, Robbie revealed that she and Gerwig had to fight to keep the scene, which wasn't specified, saying, quote, "In that very first meeting, we impressed upon the CEO of Mattel, we are going to honor the legacy of your brand, but if we don't acknowledge certain things, if we don't say it, someone else is going to say it. So you might as well be a part of that conversation. Nobody wants a long commercial they have to pay to go see. I mean, yeah, I'll take that shade of pink and tons of it at that, but the self-awareness needs to be there. A full-length, highly budgeted feature about a doll needs to go beyond the easy and often empty adage of girl power, girls rule, yay, etc., that often coats young girls' playthings, and explore more real struggles and thoughts actually faced in adolescence and beyond. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Amy Schumer's, but this is bigger than that. I don't think the thesis points she drops in her movies or stand-up are very deep explorations of the idea and reflection of self, and they're pretty focused on just her. I'm not sure I would have walked away from her version of Barbie with any lingering questions or thought more deeply about what Barbie is and what our childhood dreams and adolescent nightmares mean as grown-ups who put down our dolls. I think Margot Robbie is an excellent choice. She at least appears to bring what you might expect Barbie to look like, robed in some serious fashion. But the Barbie brand is not a monolith. Barbie is not a single thin blonde straight woman in immaculate dresses. She's supposed to be every kind of woman. Every Barbie in the We Are Barbie campaign is Barbie. Every Barbie in Barbie Land with Barbie is Barbie. Margot Robbie told Time, if Mattel hadn't made the change to have a multiplicity of Barbies, I don't think I would have wanted to attempt to make a Barbie film. I don't think you should say this is the one version of what Barbie is and that's what women should aspire to be and look like and act like, end quote. So in a way, Margot Barbie is a Trojan horse, your entryway, but not the entire greater idea. I really don't think the Sony or Amy Schumer version would have been this conceptual or dimensional, and this era pretty much makes that deeper dive an absolute necessity. Barbie has a strange kind of power, whether you liked her or not growing up. She's both one woman, a blonde Margot Robbie looking woman, and all kinds of women like fellow Barbies Issa Rae, Hari Nef, Anna Cruz Kane, and Nicola Coughlan. She's both a cluster of humanistic ideas and an injection-molded fake vacuous smile, the symbol of feminism and the enemy of it. Empty promise capitalism manifested in plastic and very individualized quirk, Schrodinger's doll, if you will. She's the vessel of many complicated feelings, and it all has to be explored or it doesn't mean anything. Is all of that lurking in what the Barbie movie turned out to be? It's hard to tell. Plot details are deeply under wraps, but this does look to be an incredibly varied, high-concept movie. The only way a Barbie movie could possibly successfully work. Because if we can't go deep on Barbie, arguably the most iconic toy to ever exist, what hope do the Hot Wheels or Barney movies have? Thanks for watching. I'm Kim Horcher. Here's one last look at the Barbie trailer, so check that out. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.